Hi everybody, I am still on my mission to get caught up with my June bills and expenses. And so yesterday we tracked the bills for the week of June 8th through 14th. So today I'm going to track expenses for that same week. So I'm using an Erin Condren planner. I'm just going to flip to a notes page here. So here's week 1 of June, and then here is week 2. And I haven't really been tracking in quite some time, or I've done it electronically and sort of haphazardly. Haven't done it on paper, so I don't have any interesting supplies. So this is just a label maker. But it gets the job done. So that's what we're going to use for now. And so I have the account that I'm using, the date, the amount, a description, and then the category. And these may change because I'm just getting back into this. And for a little bit of context, I lost my job a couple of weeks ago. I was laid off. Actually, more than 90% of our company, more than 90% of the employees were laid off. And so they may be closing the doors. It's not what they said, but it's my secret suspicion that that's what's happening there. But nevertheless, I lost my job a few weeks ago, and so am hunting and have been not in a fantastic place mentally, as one might imagine, and have kind of just now getting it back together and paying attention and trying to be a functional person a little bit. So let's start by tracking what we spent this week of June the 8th through the 14th. And we're going to start with my pink account. And I have a few accounts that I spend and pay bills out of, and I'm just color coding them rather than trying to describe what they are, because that just seems the path of least resistance. So on June the 9th, I spent $43 at the uniform store. And I know that it is bizarre to buy uniforms when I just lost my job, but I live and breathe in scrubs. They're my favorite thing to wear. I wear them constantly, and I have lost weight on a diet called poverty. And so they don't fit anymore. So I had to get some new ones. And so category will be clothing, of course. And that same day, the 9th, I spent $41 at Old Navy. And the category will be the same, clothing. Just got a pair of jeans and a pair of pants, again, because mine are falling off of me. I can take them on and off without unzipping or buttoning them. And so they look really, really bad. And I can't interview in things that are falling off of me. So I had to go and get at least one pair of nice pants. And then I got a pair of jeans as well. So on that same day, the 9th, while we were out running errands, I spent $37 at Publix. The category there is food, with a subcategory of grocery. And then the following day, June the 10th, I spent $57 at Billy's. And that is a really great burger place that is here in town. I don't know if it's local or maybe a small chain. I think that it is locally owned. But they have really interesting gourmet burgers. That's the category of food with a subcategory of dining. And then that next day, June the 11th, I spent $51 at Amazon. You know what? I failed to look this up. I suspect it's books, but I won't swear to it. So I'm going to leave this blank until I look it up, because I failed to look that up before I turned on the camera. So all of these are in my pink account. And then we're going to move to my orange account. So on June 10th, I spent $15 at King Bean. And that's just a local coffee shop. And so it's going to be food with a subcategory, I guess, of dining. Although we didn't get coffee there. They have K-Cups that are not sold in the grocery store. They only sell them in their little coffee shop. So for $15, we got 12 K-Cups instead of 2 cups of coffee. But I'm still going to put food with a subcategory of dining, even though we went to a coffee shop to essentially buy groceries. And then on the 11th of June, I spent $30 at Office Depot. And I spent $14 at Michael's. And those were both gifts. And Office Depot is a stupid place to get gifts. I realize that. So here's the thing. Someone just got a new job. And so that is great and wonderful and amazing. And they were replacing, of course, someone else. And when she moved into her office, there was a great big desk pad calendar, right, with all of the things coming up for the next several months. But the person who had left had, of course, written on it. And then when she left, they actually had, just sort of in the interim between when she left and the new person came, a series of volunteers and just people sort of filling in. And so the calendar was a big old mess, because like 5 or 6 different people had written on it and scribbled on it, and it was a disaster, and I couldn't stand to look at it. And then when I learned that it was really bothering her too, I went to Office Depot and I got her a new desk calendar. And I couldn't find pens in her favorite color, which is Barbie pink. And so I went to Michael's, to their little pen aisle, and picked out some really nice ones. She very specifically said she wanted a red pen to do edits and markup. And so I got that red pen, and then I thought, you know what, her red pen really should be in pink. So I got that also. So there's the story of gifts from Office Depot, because I am a winner. And those are from the orange account, and that finishes up that one. And then we have a couple of things from my yellow account. And so on the 13th of June, I spent $20 at Publix. And so that, of course, is the category of food with a subcategory of grocery. And that same day, I had to pick up prescriptions, and I had to pick up several. And that's because, so the thing that had happened is, I just told you that I'd lost my job with that. My insurance was tied to my employer. And so I got COBRA, but there was a lapse where I had paid my COBRA, it hadn't gone through, yada, yada, yada. I wasn't covered. And so I had a period where I couldn't get anything filled. And so when I finally could, I had a whole chunk of stuff that needed to be done. So I had several things. that needed to be done. So the category for there, because you're ridiculously interested in, you know, the prescriptions that I have to have filled, is medical. Let's see, I don't have anything green. My blue account, I spent $10 at McDonald's. And we're going to put this as a gift. So here's the thing, and this breaks my stinking heart. So a friend of mine is a homeless gentleman, and I can't remember if I've said this before or not. I know that the politically correct term is unhoused, but whenever I speak to people who do not have homes, and I do that pretty frequently, they call themselves homeless, and so that is the term that I will use because that is the term that they seem to prefer. And so that is the reason that I'm doing it. It is not to be disrespectful. He sent me a message, said that he was hungry and would I mind using my McDonald's app to order something at the McDonald's near where he was, and he would go pick it up. So of course I did that, ordered food for him and sent him the confirmation code. And he called me a bit later and said that when he went to pick it up, it said that it wasn't paid for and they wouldn't give him anything. And I felt terrible because I thought, was my card declined? Like, because I didn't get an error message, I got a confirmation, so surely this went through. And then I double checked the next day, and sure enough, this went through. I just checked again today, and this was from ages ago at this point. And so I paid for this. I'm sure the meal was made, and someone, I'm sure, who needed food got the food, and for that I am grateful. But this gentleman was hungry, and I tried to feed him, and I was unable to, and that hurts my heart. The last charge or last expense for this week is on the 11th. I spent $13. We had breakfast. We picked up breakfast. We didn't eat there, of course, at Ruby's, which is a little bagel shop. So that is a category of food with a subcategory of dining. And let's add these up. Let's see what we got. I have 43 and 41, 37, 57, 51, 15, 30, 14, 20, 102, 10, and 13. So that's a total of 433. Let me do it again just to make sure that I got it right, because I don't always get it right. All right, 433. I've got the same number twice. I feel like it's probably okay. All right, guys, so there are my expenses for the first and second week of June. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit. I sure do appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see you again soon. Bye.